Let's see that, take two. There, this is only the second time this I had to start this again because the volume was too loud. Probably you're going to hear some cars going back and forth. The weather here isn't snowing anymore. It did that for the past 2 days, so now it's raining because it's gotten warm enough, but now every single car that drives past pretty much hits a puddle that's out there, or at least it sounds like they're splashing something up onto the sidewalk that's probably going to freeze over, and then someone's going to probably try to sue me whenever they fall on the ground and hit their stupid head. So that's how my day's going so far. But hello, welcome. This is Tim's 2 cents again. I've wasted about a half hour now of me trying to be like, oh, I'll think of something, and I didn't do anything in that half hour. I sat here and I looked at my phone and I looked at my computer and then I looked at my phone again, and that was a great use of time where I kind of just got stuck in a loop there. I'm still pretty amped up. Normally I do this podcast a little bit either later or earlier. I know that doesn't really mean anything to you. But I think like I said, I've wasted about a half hour, but I took like a caffeine pill like an hour or hour and a half ago now because I was at the gym before, but it's still kind of kicking my ass. So I'm a little bit jumpy here. I'm kind of twitching in my seat a little bit. You'll probably hear a little bit of the chair too. Hopefully not. If you haven't listened to this before, this podcast is basically me just ranting for in whatever time I end up feeling like I'm giving up and just selling out too much with repeating things. And that's basically all it is. There isn't too much structure beyond that. I've tried doing, I did a structured kind of idea whenever I first started this. So if you want that, go back, listen to those. I was doing, I think kind of the idea and the reason for the name and everything was like Tim's 2 cents on this or this or this. Still wasn't that great of a name, but at least then the titles made a little bit more sense. Like I would do, I think I did. I don't know that I ever actually did Christianity, but I did like libertarianism. I think I pretty much stayed away from most religions. I most just did like political ideals or ideas and a few philosophical terms that people have kind of used to apply to themselves, like Stoics, or, also a couple that people don't really apply to themselves. Normally it's used as more like a pejorative, like a Luddite. I did that, but, but for the past episodes that I remember, I couldn't tell you which one I stopped or switched over. But I've kind of just been doing this where I don't know, it's probably more like an audio journal than anything else, because when I do write stuff down, I don't talk about it half the time. The last thing I wrote down was this, because when I write something down, it normally has to have enough importance in my mind at the time for me to be like, okay, I'm going to go get a piece of paper. I'm like in bed trying to sleep, or I'm sitting doing something where I can't just write it down normally. And so I go and I do it. So then it ends up being this like really grand point. So I wrote all this stuff about like how so you can probably hear the car in the background. No, anyway, I wrote all this stuff about how we deserve our leaders. We deserve the activists that make their living by doing nothing essentially, but making videos of themselves, and regardless of if they're an activist that you support the ideology of, or if you're indifferent to it, it's still weird how we kind of just have like professional activists. It kind of, it's kind of how not weird, but definitely I in the past have used that as a way, like, oh, well, I'll buy something from that. That means I'm supporting liberty or something like that. Like, just kind of, like, it's nice to believe stuff like that, but it's not really, like, I'll use a personal example. I know I just spiked the audio, but Adam Kokesh was like huge in me turning like libertarian stuff, which is good. He was enough of like a serious anarchist that he was like, yeah, I've read blah, 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 and I've like Mises and Grade and everything, but he was also a little bit a little bit more liberal than I would see myself now, as far as just like not liberal in the sense of like what he stands for, as much as him just being kind of like a rabid atheist, which is weird because it's like when I first started listening to him, I was coming out of high school. No, I wasn't. It was sometime like right after high school, but I think I'd seen a video a long time ago, and I think it was actually weird because, and this shows you where I was in my life when, I mean, again, I don't think it was my senior prom. My high school was really small, so you could go to it multiple times. I never got laid. It was not ever fun. Like I said, well, it was kind of fun the one time, but that's fun. Whatever. What was I saying? Prom. Yeah, prom. You could go to multiple different ones, but for some reason before one of them, I was looking up like political stuff, and I on Wikipedia, and I found anarchism, and I was like, what? How does anarchism have a page on Wikipedia? Isn't anarchism just fuck everything? Let's burn stuff. And then it was like different kinds of anarchism. One was called market anarchism. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, oh, so this is just like Republicans who talk about how great capitalism is, and then they just go, let's just do that. Like, nothing besides that. I was like, well, at least they have like some balls in saying that versus like a lot of other anarchists where I mean, the only view I ever had were like the people protesting the G20 summit or whatever, because that happened in Pittsburgh a long time ago now. I don't really know exactly when it was, but that was the only kind of experience I had with anarchists. They were like throwing themselves off the bridges and hanging there so that they had to shut the bridge down to rescue them. It was kind of weird. Let's see. That might have been a little bit after, but whatever. It sounds like a better story if I put it the other way. Yeah, I mean, regardless of all that, yeah, I was looking up anarchism, political stances before going to prom and not getting my dick sucked. Okay, why did I go on to that? Okay, yeah, I was, like, still super into Christianity then. And then Adam was, Adam, like, I know me and Adam hang out a little bit. I talked to him on his show once. I called in and I had a question. He was like, well, I don't think we need to be being this technical. I'm like, the whole show is about it being technical, and being like obnoxious about word usage and being, well, that's not actually tax. That's actually theft if you think about it. And it's like, well, yeah, no, we get that. People are just fucking scumbags. It's not if you get enough people saying that taxation is theft, it doesn't mean they're going to stop doing it. You just have to stop paying the tax if you want the taxes to go away, but nobody's going to do that. That's an aside. But like now that I'm not a believer, if whatever I believe is true from before, or whatever I believed before is true, if I die, I go to hell, I burn for eternity, and now I don't like how liberal Adam Kokesh is about like how just kind of like quickly they're like, oh, fucking Christians trying to stop it. Because it's not like, I can kind of understand people getting angry with abortion kind of just because that's just what everybody gets angry about. That's like everybody is obsessed with that on college campuses. Like cause yeah. But no, a lot of it then comes up with just like, oh, well, people are stupid, they're dumb. And I'm like, well, kind of. And again, like, as I was first coming out of the religious thing, I was thinking that too, because it made me feel superior, it made me feel smarter, it made me feel less dependent on I don't know, a crutch, because, that's the worst thing about religion is it's a crutch for people. It's a show of weakness. It's like every single fucking thing we do in the modern world is a goddamn show of ignorance and weakness. This is all just weakness. And I don't even know why I started off on this offshoot, because it had something to do. Oh, yeah, this was a whole thing about something I wrote down, And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about with how this show gets recorded, which is I've completely gone off the rails. About 30 seconds ago, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about this for? And then I'm remembering it's a note that I don't have in front of me now, but I wrote like 3 weeks ago, talking about whatever, professional activists. So yeah, I mean, that's just been a change in me where I'm kind of like, I don't have any particular anger against most religious people. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, people, different people have whatever beliefs that they're going to have, and those can go from varying degrees. Everybody has something that outside of laziness, they would be willing to kill somebody. Like, everybody has something like that. And why, like, nobody believes that murder is never okay. Everybody has something where it's like, no, fuck, that person should die. And if that has to do with a book that was written 100 years ago, or some dumb shit your parents said to you, or some stupid, or something that happened to you that made you angry at certain kinds of people or certain actions, that it's all the same bullshit. It's all the same mental whatever. And some of it's mental scarring. Some of it's supposed to make us bigger than we were, I guess. I don't know. I've lost the ability to just be like, well, God's going to make it all turn out well. No, I haven't lost the ability, but I've lost the privilege, we'll put it that way, of just saying that everything's going to work out fine. It's all going to be okay, especially for Christians, but good will win out. And I don't have that anymore, but now I find myself kind of wanting to root for that now. Again, I don't know exactly what I'm saying. I don't know exactly what that even means. It just kind of sounded right, but it probably doesn't to anybody else. But yeah, I try not to, yeah, never mind. I'm done talking about this. I'm not really sure where it was supposed to end because I didn't mean to start talking about this in the beginning. Just all of that to say, don't be a professional activist, I guess. I don't know. There's not a coherence. It's just like, and this is what I'm talking about. It like, never mind. I keep referencing like trying to be meta. Like, that's not annoying. But yeah, no, I don't like anybody who makes, like, I'll give a pass to every single religious person out there, regardless of what you do. And I'm not talking just like moderate people. Like, if I believe in no God, then there is no reason to condemn somebody for believing in one, regardless of your actions. Like, I can be like, I will try to kill you if you try to kill me, but I'm not gonna, like, it's not a matter of ignorance or stupidity. It's just a matter of how lost this person is. It might be a matter of them not having anything else in their life. I imagine most suicide bombers don't have that much going on in their life. Because, like, I mean, I would say that. I would argue with that pretty vehemently. And even if I was presented with facts against that, I would still probably try to argue that those facts are stupid and retarded. But yeah, I'll say all of that. But I do have a problem with anybody who makes money off of an ideology. And I know you have to have people to do that. I'll throw that caveat right in the beginning. I know you have to have, I need to put a pause there just to be able to be able to like cut out the background audio later. Cause this microphone's picking up everything. That's, again, I need donations to be sent to Daniel at Yumi and BTC. So, and tell him they're specifically for Tim. What was I saying about professional activists? I just don't trust anybody that makes the money off of, like, selling an ideology. Because, and I've talked about this on Yumi and BTC. I don't know if I've tried to explain it that much before, but, and whether that's a preacher or like what Adam Kokesh does or professional. I mean, no offense to Zach. If Zach, if you still listen, I appreciate it. But and it's not like a dislike for everybody. There's obviously a little bit of a difference. I'm going to dislike a politician a lot more than I'm going to dislike a lawyer, but I'm going to distrust a lawyer more than I'm going to dislike him. I just don't, people like that and people who make kind of their money on twisting words around and kind of living off of word, which is kind of stupid, because my whole idea of what I would love to do in my life is to write stories, which is the same thing. I'm just like, I'm not doing it seriously, so that makes it better, which is not very consistent, but whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I get spooked by people that kind of, I mean, not that, yeah, see, these connections don't always work, because it's not like lawyers are making money off of yeah, I'll retract that, because it's not like lawyers are necessarily making any money off of an ideology. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But, mostly just anybody, like a pastor, or like I said, I think I already said that, a pastor, or just anybody that makes money by giving out any kind of a doctrine, really is weird to me. Mostly because I wish I could do it, and I wish people would turn my podcast into some kind of a weekly sanctuary. That is what I'm trying to provide for you, an audible sanctuary where you can go to recharge yourself and figure out where you need to go next in life. That's what I'm trying to do here, because I will present you with so much chaos and nonsense that you'll be like, I cannot turn out like this guy. What else? What I said? Yeah, we deserve our governments. We deserve the kind of, it's only foolish. That's, I'll kind of tack this on to what I was saying. Part of my problem with who we have, like, representing the people now, even, like, not even the politicians. Everybody gets that the politicians don't lead us, but just like the community leaders, pastors, activists, lead activists, specifically people with big Twitter followers. It's all just so fucking stupid. Like, it's all really kind of like, again, I would love to be at the top of that. I can't stress this enough, how hypocritical I would be and how quick I would be to abuse the power if somebody gave it to me. But it's just weird. Everybody seems kind of like weirdly serious about their own shit. And I mean that kind of literally, mostly figuratively, but like the dumbest thing in your life, like the least interesting part of your life, should probably be what you think is going to happen after you die. That's me. And I understand, again, if it's a religion, it requires you to be, like cognizant of God at all times. I get that Christianity, I get that, there's certain religions that have, mandatory prayers. Whatever. Again, it's stupid to me, but again, whatever. But if you don't believe in any of that, if you think everybody else is stupid for doing that, then why do you put this much attention into figuring and arguing with people who do, when you're not any happier now than you were, most likely. Most people now don't grow up with it really anyway. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm pulling out statistics that have no backing. I'm just like, nobody grows up with, now I'm screaming. Hopefully the audio, I can turn this down a little bit. I've been messing with this microphone more because I think I said I was doing a recording before. I'm trying to record through one of my longer stories. It's 27 pages, because I'm on page 12. And I'm almost halfway. But so I've been trying to turn that in an audiobook form. As you can see right now, I definitely stumble over words quite a bit, so that's not helping. It's also not helping that anytime I change, I kind of have to get back into what I would think is a similar sounding voice, which probably should be pretty easy, but I have shown to have been retarded before, so I continue to do so. But I'm hoping, or not hoping, I'm not going to say any of that shit, but I'll be putting that out at some point. I don't know if I'm going to put that out even under my name, or I'll go throw it on some forum or something completely separate from myself and just distance myself, because I'll don't want to face whatever the consequences of putting that out there would be. But it's going well. I feel like it's something I want to do with more of the stories. So that'd be cool to put a decent amount of them on audio form. I'm trying to remember what else I'd written. I don't think, again, I'd written anything else on the list. And I started out this podcast with complaining about how things on the list would be so stupidly, like, serious, or would take themselves too seriously, would not understand how kind of dumb they were. And then I proceeded to freak out and act like everything was super important this entire episode, and completely miss the point of what I'd written down, and also not really use it half the time. But now I'm trying to remember what else, but I don't think I wrote anything else down on there, but it provided some use, I guess. So I guess that's why it happened, because, you know, God always has a plan. So I'm glad that's working out. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I could, like, what kind of advice I could pull out of that. Well, first, keep doing whatever you're doing. That's it. Somebody's trying to call me Princess Manima 80_1. I wonder, like, I'll ask this before I go, because I'm not taking this call. I feel like somebody's going to come to my door and shoot me if I answer anything from that. Fuck, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Does everybody else's phone just get called by, like, random telemarketers now? Because I think that's definitely happening around here. When I go to my parents' house, they just get random calls from numbers that are from the area, and it doesn't. I don't know why this person isn't hanging up. It's starting to bother me. My Skype is just looking at me, and it doesn't stop. Do I have to ignore it? I don't know. There, it went away. Missed call. Great. I don't know who the fuck this is. What was I talking about? Yeah, no, like a bunch, like calls coming from like cell phone numbers or something, robocalls using that. I think I heard something about it. I don't know. Whatever happens, happens, I guess. That's the advice. Whatever happens, happens. No, I guess if it's something you enjoy, I have, like, do whatever. Think about stuff, analyze stuff. But if it's something that causes you more kind of pain or more annoyance, like if you're working at a job and you're half the time you're spending time with people that you hate, and you're just constantly going over how dumb they are in your mind, how stupid their arguments are, and you're just like, I'm gonna get them someday. I figured out why taxation really is theft, and they're just assholes who think that fucking slavery's okay. Yeah, just don't do that. Quit talking about it. Quit thinking about it. You're not going to change anybody that way, and even if you did, who cares? Alright, have a good week, guys. I'll be back next time. I'm gonna have to figure out what kind of notes. I have no fucking idea what to write for this. Bye.